Hello and welcome to Castle Farms Homestead.
Welcome back. Good to see you.
Today we're doing a little repair on the fifth wheel because a couple days ago I was in the kitchen cooking breakfast, and Clint noticed that I was leaving wet spots on the rug. And he's like, "Oh, is your foot wet?"
I thought his feet were wet or something. The socks are wet and
What?
stepping on there and leaving wet marks.
No, my feet are dry, and realized we had water seeping up through the floor. And just where I was stepping was pushing water out and soaking the rug. And realized we have had a pretty bad leak.
Yeah, actually, we searched and searched for it. You know, when we first hooked up the fifth wheel and turned the pump on for the water, we noticed that the pump would cycle every once in a while, but it wasn't very often. Just every once in a while. It was hours and hours, probably once or twice a day.
Yeah.
And knew that might mean a little leak or something. But anyway, when we got that water, we started searching around. We could not find it at first. It was crazy.
Finally found a little spot looking through this little cabinet here. I was able to look back in there and see water dripping off of a hose. Checked the hose. The hose wasn't leaking. Couldn't find where the hose was, where it would be leaking from anyway.
Pulled out the drawers in the other side
Which
to
you'll see
look
in a
back
second.
in there, and we definitely saw the water. And
It looked like it was just forming on a sidewall, and
that's what was crazy.
Well,
Is because we saw some dripping, but where the water seemed to be coming, it seemed to be actually just like coming out of the wall of the cabinet and also out of a little support piece for the drawers.
but there was no like water damage to them or anything. It was just water was just pooling there and dripping off of it. We could not
And there was
figure
no
out.
water source around it. Couldn't figure it out. And we were finally ready to give up. We thought, well, it must be water coming from the recent storms we had and just dripping down there and seeping out somehow. We thought, well, we'll let it go and see what happens. If it dries up, we'll know, okay, that's where it's from. If it continues, we'll have to look further. But just then,
I was backing away from the cabinet, and the light caught it just right, and I see a spray of water in the air, and I go, "Oh my gosh, I can see a spray. It's coming from somewhere." And I just, follow it down and notice the tiniest little.
we are talking a pinhole stream that you could not see unless you were specific, or like I said, catch the light right or whatever. I still, after he pointed out, I was looking for a while, finally saw it. I mean, it was not obvious at all.
No.
But it was just a tiniest, like we were saying, a little crack in an outdoor faucet that we have here. And this old outdoor faucet got a tiny little crack. You'll never see it.
Yeah, there's no way you'll see it.
Tiny little crack there, and was just squirting out this little pinhole spray that would form on the, then they would get water on the side of the cabinets and magically appear in our eyes at that point. So, but we finally we ordered a new faucet, so we're going to put that in. Should be a pretty easy install, and we should be in business again. I don't want to be dry camping again.
No. Luckily, you only had it off for like a day before we headed back into town.
Yeah. So the dry camping thing stinks. So, so we're going to install this and get going with some water again.
We're not going to show you the install.
What?
It's easy and boring. Yeah.
And we can tell you about it.
We'll try to make it sound interesting, but it won't. It won't. You can see our drawers out here on the floor, and where the pipes are and everything. And like I said, I just was like looking up in this area, and I saw a spray of water and had to trace it down to where the old one was cracked right in there. But it's all connected up. Very simple to do. Literally just tighten things on. That's it. And now we're just waiting for the water heater to heat some water so we can make sure the hoses are going to the right valves.
Let's show them out here. So our faucet's working now. We got water both sides. Like Brady said, we don't know which is whether he hooked it up right with a hot or cold. The good thing about this is that we actually now have water out here, because before with the old one, I could not get this to even click in because it's so old and stuck. So anyway, so we got a nice new one. Seems to work well.
We checked and the water was hooked up incorrectly. We had hot coming out of cold coming out of hot. So I switched that around, and now we've got the correct temperatures coming out of the correct faucets. Ooh, ow, that heated up real quickly. So that's all set up and ready to go now. And Clint is now getting the TV set up, because you're not really homesteading if you don't have a big flat screen TV that you can watch football on. You know, with football season coming up, we're wanting to watch all the BYU games, plus any other ones that we can catch. And so we're getting the TV set up so that we can sit on the reclining couch in there and watch some football after the end of a long day. Should be good.